Chosen one, stop whatever you're doing and listen. Something sacred is happening right now. This isn't another random video. God interrupted your routine because a line has been crossed. Too much has been spoken, too much revealed, and heaven is trying to seal what's still unfinished. You've been talking about what should have stayed hidden. The dreams you whispered, the blessings you announced, the prayers you described in detail. Each word carried power, and that power attracted attention. Some eyes that watched were not meant to see. Some ears that listened were never meant to hear. God isn't angry, but he is firm. He says, "Stop now before what I planted begins to wither." Silence feels unnatural when you're excited. When you finally see progress, you want to share it. But the spiritual world doesn't celebrate noise. It respects mystery. Every promise has a gestation period. Speak too soon, and the atmosphere around you changes. People start analyzing, comparing, even envying. Doubt sneaks in through their words. Think about this. When a seed is placed in soil, the gardener doesn't keep digging it up to check if it's growing. He covers it and waits. The covering is protection, not punishment. In the same way, God is covering you right now. The darkness you feel around your plans isn't abandonment, it's preservation. Many of you have wondered why sudden resistance appeared after you shared your vision. Why did friends become distant? Why did energy drop? Because spiritual exposure invites unnecessary warfare. You open the door, and God is teaching you how to close it again. Your silence will rebuild the wall that protects your promise. It's not weakness, it's strategy. When heaven chooses a vessel, that person's life becomes sacred ground. Everything that touches it must be filtered. Conversations, advice, opinions, each one has power to bless or delay. You've been letting too many voices shape your direction. God says, "I will not compete with the noise you allow." He's pulling you into quiet so that his whisper becomes clear again. The next instructions for your purpose won't come through applause. They'll come through stillness. Chosen one, I know you've been misunderstood. People think your silence means pride or distance, but God says, stay quiet anyway. The revelation he's forming inside you is delicate. One wrong conversation could distort it. Right now, heaven is asking for your cooperation, not another post, not another explanation, just stillness. Pause for a moment and feel that weight in your chest, the awareness that God is speaking directly. That's not fear, that's reverence. He's protecting you from invisible thieves. Every time you shared your excitement too soon, notice what followed. Confusion, fatigue, unexpected criticism. Those were not coincidences, they were alarms. God let you feel the consequences so that you'd recognize the value of restraint. You don't need validation to prove obedience. The proof will be in the result that no one can deny when it finally appears. Before we continue, take a breath and make a small act of agreement. Hit the like button as your declaration of alignment. It isn't about algorithms, it's about intention. Subscribe so this line of communication stays open, because more messages are coming. And type 99 in the comments. It's your public sign of completion, the closing of the old habit of oversharing. Chosen one, your life is holy ground. Every sentence you speak plants something, either faith or interference. Words are doors. Every listener you invite inside gains partial access to what you're building. This is why God is teaching you boundaries. He says, stop announcing what I'm still constructing. The blueprint isn't ready for public eyes. Let me finish the architecture before you show the design. Think of Noah building the ark. He faced mockery because no one saw rain. Imagine if he had stopped to explain every detail. The project would have died under conversation. Instead, he kept building quietly, and when the flood came, his obedience spoke for itself. That's your model. Build quietly. Let the result do the talking. Right now, heaven is cleaning your circle. Some people will fade. Don't chase them. Every exit is part of the ceiling. God removes witnesses who would dilute your faith. You may feel lonely, but solitude is where revelation matures. Your challenge isn't external anymore, it's internal. Can you celebrate alone? Can you trust that God remembers promises even when you stop reminding Him aloud? That's real faith. You've prayed for acceleration, but acceleration requires aerodynamics. Loose parts create drag. Oversharing is drag. Silence is the streamline. Listen carefully. God doesn't need you to advertise His plans. He needs you to prepare for them. The next season will demand precision. Not every friend deserves updates. Not every family member can carry the weight of your vision. Stop giving away chapters that only God was meant to edit. You're being upgraded from public enthusiasm to private authority. The difference is power under control. Lions don't announce their hunt. They move quietly until the moment of impact. God says, move like that. Chosen one, remember how many times you felt disappointment after a big reveal. You thought momentum was lost. Opportunities slipped. They didn't vanish. They retreated until you learned discipline. God won't let blessings land in open hands surrounded by noise. He'll wait until your silence builds walls strong enough to hold glory. Even your prayers are shifting. You'll notice yourself speaking less, but feeling more. That's the Spirit interceding through stillness. Heaven understands silence better than speeches. If you've been feeling pressure to post, to explain, to defend yourself, release it. You owe no one updates about what God is forming. When the fruit appears, explanations become unnecessary. Every storm you've faced lately has been pruning your conversation. It's why you feel withdrawn. Don't fight that pull. The quiet season is not exile, it's incubation. Look around your life right now. Notice the people suddenly revealing envy through small comments. Notice the conversations that drain you. God allowed this exposure so you could see what silence would have protected. Learn from it. Heaven is resetting your rhythm. You'll speak only when commanded, move only when prompted, and share only what strengthens faith. That's maturity. This is not about paranoia. It's about stewardship. You wouldn't hand a fragile masterpiece to careless hands. So why hand your divine assignment to opinions? Chosen one, the next move of God in your life depends on your ability to stay hidden until appointed time. There is a divine calendar, and your name is on it. The date is set, but silence is your signature of agreement. When you stop announcing every seed, you start harvesting in peace. Quiet doesn't mean forgotten, it means reserved for the right moment. So breathe, step back, let the noise fall away. God is still speaking. In this calm, He will begin revealing why certain plans were delayed and how your silence will now accelerate what speech once slowed. Stay close. The deeper revelation is coming next. Chosen one, remain still. The moment you stopped speaking, heaven started to move. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the chamber where divine work is done. While you wait, while you hold your tongue, the unseen hand of God rearranges everything that concerns you. Right now, the silence around you is not emptiness. It is architecture. He is constructing what words could never build. Every prayer you whispered has turned into instruction in the unseen realm, and the angels assigned to your name have begun to act on those instructions. When you speak too soon, you interfere with that architecture. It's like touching wet paint. What was becoming beautiful gets smeared. But when you hold your peace, you allow heaven to finish the brushstrokes. This is why the quiet feels heavy. Creation is happening underneath it. Many mistake stillness for delay. They think God is ignoring them because nothing looks different. Yet silence is proof of movement. Think of seeds buried deep in soil. The surface shows nothing, but life is erupting below. Your destiny is in that same stage, germination. And germination needs darkness, warmth, and quiet. The enemy knows this. That's why distractions appear loud right now. When your season of silence arrives, noise multiplies. People around you suddenly want explanations. Opportunities tempt you to reveal what you're building. That is spiritual bait, testing whether you trust God enough to keep quiet. Chosen one, every destiny that survives the test of silence gains a different kind of authority. Look through history. Those who learned to be quiet before they were seen became unshakable once they were revealed. Joseph's silence in prison prepared him for Pharaoh's court. Jesus' silence before Pilate demonstrated control, not weakness. Every moment you restrain your words, you are forging spiritual steel inside yourself. Your silence is your boundary. It tells heaven that you can be trusted with mysteries. It tells the world that your validation no longer comes from attention. And it tells the enemy that he cannot manipulate you through curiosity. When you fall silent, you remove his favorite weapon, information. He cannot attack what he cannot define. He cannot delay what he cannot predict. He cannot corrupt what he cannot touch. So guard your process. Stop explaining what God hasn't commanded you to share. Stop giving updates about things still forming. Let your results speak when the time is right. The divine pattern is always the same. Concealment before revelation. What God hides, he hides to protect, not to punish. There is a moment right before breakthrough when heaven becomes completely quiet. It feels like abandonment, but it's actually insulation. He silences everything so you can hear one voice, his. In that silence, you start to recognize how many of your past words were born from fear rather than faith. You begin to discern how much energy you wasted defending what God was already defending. Chosen one, understand this truth. What you silence, God amplifies. When you withhold words, you give him room to speak through results. When you stop convincing people, he convinces hearts for you. When you walk away from explanations, he writes your vindication in outcomes. Silence also exposes motives. Those who truly carry love will not demand access to your every detail. They will respect your quiet seasons, but those who are attached only to your noise will drift away when you stop performing. Let them. Their departure is part of the purification process. You're not losing people, you're losing interference. And interference in spiritual language means leakage. Every extra conversation about your destiny leaks the energy meant for manifestation. The more you talk, the less power your actions hold. So heaven is teaching you economy, fewer words, greater impact. In this quiet, God is also healing your relationship with attention. He's detoxing you from the need to be seen, because the next level of your assignment will demand privacy more than applause. He's training you to breathe in obscurity so that fame, when it comes, won't suffocate you. Chosen one, your silence is the furnace where humility is forged. And humility is the only metal strong enough to carry divine power. Without it, blessing turns into burden. So he keeps you hidden until you no longer chase validation. That's how heaven protects destiny, by refining the vessel that carries it. When you feel the urge to explain, remember, revelation delayed is protection extended. Each unspoken word becomes a wall of defense around your purpose. Every withheld detail becomes a seed that multiplies in secret. God is teaching you that power grows best in quiet soil. So when the next test comes, when someone presses you for answers, when opportunities demand exposure, choose silence. Smile, nod, and walk away knowing that restraint is not weakness. It is warfare, because in the realm of the spirit, silence screams louder than words. Chosen one, the moment you decided to stay quiet, heaven began to shift pieces that words could never move. Silence releases permission. It tells the divine realm that you are ready for unseen partnership. Every season of silence carries 3 layers of power: movement, revelation, and protection. Each unfolds when you stop trying to control outcomes through speech. First comes movement. When you rest your voice, God uses it as a signal that you have surrendered your timing. He starts adjusting people, situations, and opportunities around you. Conversations are held without your name being spoken, yet decisions begin to favor you. Emails you never sent turn into open doors. Encounters appear as coincidence, but are written from above. Silence is heaven's green light. It shows you trust the plan enough to stop narrating it. While others explain, defend, and persuade, you become still, and the stillness draws divine motion. The less you speak, the more God speaks through circumstance. Then comes revelation. In the quiet, you begin to hear what constant talking used to drown out. God never stopped speaking. He simply waited for your noise to fade. Suddenly, scriptures, dreams, and inner impressions align like puzzle pieces. You start to notice patterns, timing, names, numbers that guide you with precision. What felt confusing begins to make sense because silence sharpened your perception. It is in these moments that secrets of destiny are revealed. Hidden instructions, creative ideas, and warnings flow easily. You realize how much energy was lost in conversation that could have been invested in listening. Silence reclaims that energy and channels it into awareness. Finally comes protection. Every person who carries light attracts curiosity, and curiosity can turn into interference. When you remain silent, you deny access to your blueprint. The fewer details others know, the fewer doors the enemy can use. God's protection works quietly. He removes certain people without explanation, delays specific opportunities, even hides your progress for a while. It may feel like rejection, but it's preservation. Your destiny is a sacred document. Only those with clearance can read it. Chosen one, understand this. The universe mirrors discipline. When you guard your words, reality guards your steps. You begin to notice that accidents miss you, gossip dissolves before reaching your ears, and unseen hands steer you away from traps. That is the shield of silence in motion. But silence is not passive. It demands awareness. It means choosing when to speak and how much to say. It is not muteness, it is mastery. The mature soul knows that revelation without discretion is vulnerability. You are learning the difference between expression and exposure. Think of Moses climbing the mountain. He didn't broadcast each step. He disappeared until the message was ready. When he came down, his face carried proof. That is what God wants for you. Evidence, not explanation. Your season of quiet is training you to carry visible glory without verbal defense. People will wonder how everything changed so suddenly. They'll ask what you did. You won't need to answer. The results will speak with a volume that words could never reach. In this state, even your energy begins to change. You'll notice a stillness that others can feel. Rooms calm when you enter. Conversations pause when you listen. That is the vibration of divine alignment, the soundless frequency of a soul that trusts its creator, and yet there will be pressure to break it. Some will misread your silence as distance. They'll say you've changed. They'll pull at your attention, needing you to explain yourself. Do not. The urge to justify is the final test before full elevation. Silence is not for their understanding. It's for your protection. Keep your heart open, but your plans sealed. Listen more than you speak, and when you do speak, let each word carry purpose. Because in this stage, every sentence becomes seed. The ground is fertile. Heaven is listening. Speak only what you wish to harvest. Chosen one, what follows the quiet is not emptiness, it's saturation. Once the noise inside you fades, God fills the space you cleared. Ideas start arriving faster than you can write them down. Opportunities appear without announcements. You begin to sense that silence was never about waiting. It was about preparation. The stillness has changed the way you think. You no longer chase validation. You measure direction. You speak less, listen more, and act only when the inner signal feels undeniable. That is the mark of a person who has crossed from noise into knowing. Now the same silence that used to feel heavy becomes fuel. It sharpens intuition. You notice how easily you can read a room, feel energy, sense motives. It's not suspicion, it's sensitivity. God refines discernment in people who can be trusted with quiet. This is why you were hidden. He couldn't let you walk into certain rooms until you learned the strength of restraint. Words reveal coordinates, silence hides them. While others overshare, you move unseen, guided only by the voice within. That secrecy protects the assignment and multiplies impact. Silence also magnetizes favor. When you stop broadcasting every hope and hurt, people feel mystery around you. That mystery draws attention, and attention opens doors. But more important, heaven releases favor through the same energy you once wasted explaining yourself. Every unspoken thought becomes a signal upward, a request delivered straight to the divine realm. This is the exchange. What you don't say aloud turns into power within. You convert language into presence. Your aura, your calm, your clarity, all of it starts speaking louder than your mouth ever could. Soon you'll notice something unusual. Plans unfold before you articulate them. People arrive with exactly what you needed. It feels supernatural, but it's simply alignment. Silence removed resistance, and now energy moves freely toward you. Chosen one, this is also the phase where distractions test commitment. The moment you taste peace, the world will tempt you to spend it. Sudden invitations, new alliances, even praise will appear. Each is a question disguised as opportunity. Are you still anchored? Answer with discernment, not words. Remember, peace is expensive. Don't spend it explaining your purpose to those who aren't ready. At this level, obedience replaces ambition. You don't chase. You respond. You don't advertise. You manifest. Everything flows through instruction, not impulse. That's what separates the awakened from the wandering. There will be times when silence feels lonely. You'll miss the noise that once proved you were moving. But loneliness in divine language means insulation, not isolation. God is keeping the signal clear so you don't confuse applause with approval. He's teaching you to rest in His confirmation alone. Stay there, because the next sound you hear after this silence won't come from people. It will come from purpose. A door will open. An offer will arrive. A sentence spoken by a stranger will echo exactly what you've been praying about. That is the moment the hidden work becomes visible. When that happens, walk through quietly. Let results make the announcement. Let gratitude be your only speech. You've learned that true influence is silent authority, the kind that shifts atmospheres without shouting. And when others ask how you did it, smile gently. Tell them, I stopped talking long enough to hear what God was saying. That single truth carries every miracle that followed. Your silence is now your signature. Keep it sacred, because from this point forward, every word you release carries weight. Every pause carries presence. And every quiet moment continues to build the destiny that only heaven could design. Chosen one, the moment visibility arrives, the real test begins. Anyone can stay silent in hiddenness. The challenge is to stay grounded when every light is pointed toward you. Now that favor has started to open doors, remember this. Visibility is not victory. It's vulnerability dressed as celebration. When people finally recognize what was inside you all along, their curiosity grows louder than their support. Some will want to understand, some will want to imitate, and a few will want to interfere. That's why God trained you in silence first, so you would know how to walk through noise without losing peace. You are entering a season where wisdom must lead enthusiasm. Do not confuse attention with anointing. Fame can amplify the same voice that silence refined. If you're not careful, it can also scatter it. Every new opportunity will ask for access. Interviews, partnerships, friendships, collaborations. Each request is a doorway. Before you step through, ask one quiet question inside. Is this alignment or distraction? Silence is still your compass. It's the small pause before you answer, the moment of breath before you agree. In that pause, heaven speaks. If you feel a tightening in your chest, a heaviness that wasn't there a second ago, that's a no. If peace expands quietly, that's a yes. Discernment now replaces explanation. The next danger of success is overexposure disguised as gratitude. You'll want to thank everyone, tell the full story, reveal every struggle that led to triumph. But gratitude doesn't need confession, it needs stewardship. Thank privately, celebrate quietly, and let the outcome itself honor God. The power of mystery keeps divine momentum alive. Understand that every elevation shifts spiritual gravity. The higher you rise, the stronger the pull downward becomes. That's why airplanes close every window shade before takeoff, to control the light within while piercing the sky outside. You must do the same. Protect the light in you while ascending. Share selectively, reveal sparingly, and keep your inner world anchored in solitude. Chosen one. Learn to schedule silence. Block moments in your day when no one can reach you. Use those hours to listen, recalibrate, and let your energy reset. You'll find that clarity returns in those quiet pockets faster than in any meeting or conversation. Power is maintained through rhythm. Pour out, pull back, refuel, repeat. Do not fear being misunderstood. People who operate in constant noise cannot grasp strategic quiet. They will interpret your boundaries as pride or distance. Let them. Every misinterpretation becomes an extra layer of protection around what's sacred. As you remain still, notice how your influence matures. Your words carry weight because they are few. When you finally speak, rooms still. That is not charisma. It is concentration, the condensed force of all the silence you've honored. This is what prophets, sages, and wise leaders share. They speak only after they've listened long enough to separate impulse from instruction. Visibility will tempt you to fill every space with commentary. Resist it. The world doesn't need your opinion. It needs your presence. Presence is built in the quiet, the same quiet that birthed your rise. Now the circle completes itself. Silence prepared you for exposure. Exposure will test your silence. If you can maintain stillness while standing in the spotlight, you will never lose what was gained in the shadows. Remember, the goal is not fame, it's fidelity. To keep your inner frequency tuned to the same voice that called you when nobody was listening. Hold that frequency close. Protect it like breath itself, for the louder life becomes, the softer God tends to speak. Chosen one. Silence was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to teach timing. There will be moments when God will ask you to speak, and those words will carry the weight of many quiet seasons. What you say then will not be ordinary. It will be calibrated, purified, and sharp enough to pierce confusion. Until that moment, learn to test every impulse to speak. Ask yourself 3 questions before any word leaves your mouth. Is this born from peace or from pressure? Is it meant to heal or to defend? Would God still stand by this sentence if no one applauded it? If a single answer hesitates, stay silent. That hesitation is mercy. It saves you from scattering the energy meant for creation. When heaven finally gives permission, speak with precision. A few deliberate words can shift entire situations. Prophets in every generation carried this pattern. They waited, they listened, they spoke rarely, and because of that, their voices never blended with the crowd. You are being refined into that same pattern. Understand the difference between a statement and a signal. A statement explains, a signal awakens. Ordinary people issue statements. Chosen ones send signals that ripple through hearts and minds. When you speak from alignment, your tone becomes that signal. It bypasses intellect and lands directly in the soul of whoever needs it. Your silence has been building a reservoir. Each moment you resisted the urge to justify or argue stored energy inside you. Now, when the right situation demands your voice, that stored power pours out naturally, steady, calm, undeniable. People feel truth rather than hearing it, but guard against vanity and expression. There is a fine line between revelation and performance. Once you sense that words are being used to impress rather than to instruct, stop, return to stillness. Let God reclaim the stage. This rhythm, speak, retreat, listen, is how wisdom sustains influence without corruption. Chosen one, your voice is an instrument, not a weapon. When used correctly, it restores. When used carelessly, it wounds. You've already seen what careless voices can do, how gossip, exaggeration, and constant opinion dilute authority. So be the opposite, measured, thoughtful, rare. Before addressing others, address yourself. Ask, does this word build or break? If it builds, release it gently. If it breaks, hold it until it becomes healing. Words birthed from bitterness may sound powerful, but they carry poison. Words birthed from peace may sound simple, yet they carry transformation. Silence also refines empathy. Because you've learned to listen deeply, you can now sense the pain behind another's anger, the insecurity behind their criticism. That awareness turns confrontation into ministry. You'll find yourself saying less, but helping more. That is the hallmark of divine communication, impact without noise. Your speaking moments will come like assignments. They might arrive in a conversation with a stranger, a single post online, a meeting where decisions hang in the balance. In those moments, don't overthink. Just allow the prepared silence to speak through you. The words will form themselves. You'll recognize them by the peace that follows. Remember, the same God who told you when to be quiet will tell you when to speak. Trust that prompting. It may come as a stirring in your spirit, a sudden clarity, or a quiet certainty that now is the time. When it comes, step forward without hesitation. The world is desperate for steady voices, voices not driven by ego, fear, or approval. You've been trained for that role. Your calm becomes medicine, your restraint becomes strength, and your few words become seeds of awakening. Chosen one, speak when heaven speaks through you, and not a moment sooner. Let every word be wrapped in grace and purpose. And when you finish, withdraw again into the safety of quiet. That cycle keeps your spirit clear and your destiny untouchable. Chosen one, the silence that once felt like restraint has become rhythm. You've learned when to speak and when to stand still. Now you're ready for the final lesson, how to live in that balance every day so your influence outlasts you. Legacy is not carved by noise. It's shaped by the quiet decisions you repeat in private, the prayers no one hears, the temptations you resist, the humility you choose after every victory. Each silent choice becomes a stone in the foundation of your future. This is why God never rushed your rise. He was more interested in your roots than your reach. Every generation remembers voices, but heaven records integrity. Your legacy will not be built by how loudly you spoke, but by how faithfully you listened. The world celebrates volume. God measures depth. Depth is formed in silence, hours spent reflecting before reacting, waiting before deciding, listening before leading. This discipline separates noisemakers from world shapers. Chosen one, understand that your quiet example will become instruction for others. People will study how you moved with dignity instead of defense, how you guarded sacred things while still walking among crowds. You'll notice young souls drawn to your calm. They won't even know why they trust you. It's because your silence carries peace that cannot be faked. At this stage, you no longer fear obscurity. You crave it because you know that privacy keeps purity alive. You choose solitude not out of withdrawal but out of wisdom. Even in success, you'll keep a secret place, a corner, a walk, a simple routine where you meet God with no audience, no agenda, only gratitude. Those hidden moments will recharge everything seen. Your power now is continuity. Stay steady when others rush. Hold peace when others panic. Respond with clarity when the world demands reaction. Each act of consistency becomes proof that silence trained you well. The day will come when people ask for your story. Tell it truthfully but not totally. Share the principles, not every pain. Reveal the lessons, not every detail. Mystery keeps the sacred intact. And remember, your journey is still unfolding. Even when you teach, you remain a student. As time moves forward, your silence will evolve into legacy through three simple forces: presence, patience, and purpose presence. You'll notice that simply being somewhere brings order. You won't have to dominate conversations. Your calm will set the tone. That is the residue of all the quiet hours spent in God's presence. Patience. You will understand timing so deeply that delay no longer scares you. You'll know that whatever takes longer to build lasts longer to bless. Every pause will feel like partnership, not punishment. Purpose. Because your motives have been purified by silence, every action now connects to calling. You'll move with precision, not performance. And precision leaves footprints that others can follow safely. Chosen one. Legacy is not a monument. It's momentum. It's the energy of faithfulness traveling through generations. Every time you choose silence over reaction, humility over pride, focus over distraction, that momentum strengthens. Even when you're gone, your restraint will keep speaking through the lives you touched. So guard the rhythm that got you here. Return to quiet whenever confusion rises. Use words only as bridges, never as weapons. Let peace remain your loudest testimony. Because the true sound of a chosen one is not their speech, it's their stillness. Now, exhale. You've come full circle, from noise to knowing, from exposure to essence. Keep walking softly, carrying that sacred calm wherever you go. The world will hear you, even when you whisper. Heaven will move, even when you pause. And destiny will continue unfolding in perfect silence. Chosen one, the stillness has done its work. The air around you feels different now, charged, awake, almost electric. It's the sound of promise turning solid. For so long you guarded every thought like a seed in dark soil. Now the ground itself begins to tremble because those seeds are breaking open. You may not see everything at once, but small confirmations start appearing. A message arrives at the right moment. A door opens without a knock. The same path that once resisted you now feels strangely soft beneath your feet. That is how destiny announces itself, quietly, faithfully, and exactly on time. God never rushes harvest. He lets roots prove their strength before fruit appears. And you, chosen one, have deep roots. Every silent prayer, every restrained response, every night you chose patience instead of panic was a root reaching farther into faith. Now the tree begins to rise, and nothing can hide its growth. You'll notice that the manifestation begins gently. It doesn't roar. It unfolds. A new opportunity here, a reconciliation there, a sudden understanding that turns pain into wisdom. This is divine symmetry. He restores the balance that noise once disturbed. You'll start seeing purpose behind what once looked like loss. Even closed doors reveal their reason in this light. But remember, manifestation is not magic. It's alignment made visible. The silence you honored cleared the path. Now your steps must stay steady. Walk slowly through these openings. Blessings that come quickly need gentle handling. Think of newborn light. It dazzles but also blinds if you stare too long. Let your eyes adjust. Let gratitude guide you. In this phase, thanksgiving becomes your language. Not the loud kind that performs for applause, but the quiet kind that fills a room with warmth. Gratitude is fuel. It keeps manifestation flowing. Every time you thank God privately, another layer of favor unfolds publicly. He multiplies what you appreciate. Chosen. 1. Some of the first signs of your new season will look small. Don't despise them. The universe always whispers before it shouts. Pay attention to subtle things. The call that feels different, the peace that replaces worry, the stranger's kindness that seems oddly timed. These are signals that the divine circuit is active again. The silence you kept was the switch. As the movement builds, protect your calm. Excitement can become noise if left unchecked. The same discipline that guarded you in darkness must now guard you in daylight. Joy doesn't mean chatter. Joy means confidence. Celebrate without spilling secrets. Smile without explaining every reason for it. Let wonder stay between you and heaven. Manifestation also tests humility. When rewards appear, pride will try to claim them. Resist that urge. You didn't force this season, you cooperated with it. The results you see are proof that surrender works better than control. Keep that truth close. It will preserve every blessing that arrives. And yes, not everyone will understand the change. Some will question how everything turned so quickly. Some will look for logic where there is only grace. Don't defend it. Let peace be your press release. Those who need to know will sense it. Those who doubt will drift. Your focus is to remain in flow, quietly, faithfully, forward. This is the stage where faith turns into sight, and sight demands stewardship. Handle the new season the way you handled silence, with care, reverence, and intention. Each day, pause before you act, listen before you move, thank before you ask. That rhythm keeps the current strong. Chosen one, your silence has now become language. Everything around you speaks for you, your calm, your progress, your glow. You don't need to prove transformation. You are living proof of it. This is what it looks like when heaven answers in full sentences made of events instead of words. Chosen one, once the first signs appear, momentum follows. The same silence that trained you to wait now trains you to move with grace. Doors you used to knock on begin to open from the inside. Opportunities that once ignored you now seek you. This is how divine timing feels. Effortless, natural, undeniable. But ease can be its own test. When everything starts working, discipline can fade. So God will keep a gentle weight on your spirit, a reminder that peace is a partnership. He opens the doors, but you decide how you walk through them. Step softly, stay grateful, and keep listening for the inner signal that guided you here. You'll notice that relationships begin to rearrange themselves. Some who drifted away will return, but with new respect. Others will leave completely, unable to match the vibration you now carry. Do not chase or cling. Every change is choreography. Heaven is arranging the cast for the next act of your life. As new alliances form, discern motive before invitation. You no longer need to be suspicious, only aware. Ask quietly, does this connection feed my peace or my pride? If it feeds peace, nurture it. If it feeds pride, bless it and let it go. This single habit will save you from cycles that used to drain your strength. Material signs of blessing may follow. Unexpected income, open platforms, influence that grows faster than you planned. Receive them with open hands but guarded heart. Wealth and attention are tools, not identity. They are meant to serve purpose, not replace it. Use every resource to build what outlives applause, wisdom, compassion, and impact. You will begin to sense how heaven multiplies through generosity. The more you give from quiet intention, the stronger the flow becomes. It's not a transaction, it's a rhythm. When you bless without broadcasting, God replenishes without measure. The unseen hand that once protected you now provides for you. In this phase, your prayers shift from "help me" to "guide me." You stop asking for rescue and start asking for refinement. This is maturity, the moment faith turns into partnership. You and God move together, not in crisis, but in conversation. Chosen one, manifestation also reveals responsibility. Each new level carries its own maintenance. If you treat blessings casually, they shrink. If you handle them with gratitude, they expand. So schedule time to sit in quiet review. Ask, what did this week teach me? What am I meant to release? Reflection keeps the stream clear. You may find that silence becomes your favorite luxury. Crowds exhaust you faster, noise feels heavier, and solitude feels like oxygen. That is not withdrawal, it is preservation. Every great builder needs distance to design. You are building a future that demands clarity, not constant conversation. When you feel pressure to explain success, remember, mystery magnifies meaning. Those who truly see you will sense the divine fingerprints without needing proof. Let them wonder. Let them seek their own silence. Your life has become a living invitation to it. As manifestation deepens, watch how easily answers appear. Where you once begged for signs, they now arrive as instincts. You wake up knowing what to do next. That certainty is the voice of God matured within you. It no longer shouts. It flows. Stay humble inside this flow. Humility keeps the current strong. The moment you believe the flow belongs to you, it fragments. Keep credit where it belongs, with the one who wrote your blueprint long before you spoke a word of it. You are now learning to live in rhythm with heaven. It's not about highs or lows, it's about harmony. Noise cannot live in harmony, only balance can. The silence that birthed you now travels with you, shaping every response, guiding every decision, protecting every step. Chosen one, manifestation is not the end. It is the beginning of influence. The blessings that once looked personal are now turning outward, transforming into purpose. You were never meant to keep what heaven poured into you. You were meant to become a channel through which that power flows. This is the stage where you realize that miracles are not rewards. They are responsibilities. Each answered prayer now comes with a question. What will you do with what I gave you? God does not bless to impress. He blesses to equip. And every gift you've received carries an assignment attached to it. You'll feel this shift inside you. What once satisfied now stirs you to give. You'll see needs around you that you can no longer ignore. This isn't pressure. It's purpose revealing itself through compassion. You've moved from survival to service. And service is the truest expression of gratitude. Begin where you are. Help quietly. Speak life into someone who still doubts their own worth. You don't need a stage. Your influence is already active in your presence. Every conversation, every small act of kindness becomes a ripple that expands far beyond your reach. In this phase, you'll sense how spiritual energy travels. Your peace begins to heal others simply because it's genuine. Your calm becomes contagious. People will start saying, something about you feels different. They won't know that difference was born in silence, refined in patience, and manifested in obedience. Chosen one, that is your calling, to carry quiet transformation into noisy places. You are not meant to shout truth. You are meant to live it so clearly that even those who resist it feel it. Wherever you go, atmospheres shift, meetings soften, families reconcile, strangers open up. That's divine current flowing through you. This is what God meant when He said, "You are the light of the world." Light does not argue with darkness. It simply shines until the darkness adjusts. You are now that steady light. And because you have learned the discipline of silence, your shine does not flicker. It glows with the calm assurance of someone who knows exactly who sent them. But with influence comes a new kind of temptation, the urge to become the source instead of the channel. Guard against that. You are a vessel, not the origin. The moment you try to own the light, it dims. Stay transparent so heaven can still flow through you without obstruction. You'll also encounter people drawn to your peace but unprepared for your process. They will want your results without your discipline. Teach them gently. Show them that silence is not avoidance, it's alignment. Tell them that real manifestation isn't about luck or effort, it's about surrender. Your testimony will awaken many who are trapped in the noise of striving. Chosen one, this is where your legacy begins to multiply. What you model now becomes someone else's miracle later. Every calm decision you make, every humble response, every moment you choose stillness over reaction becomes a seed of wisdom in another soul. You are writing lessons in the language of living, and as this ripple spreads, you'll notice that heaven responds again. The more you pour out with purity, the faster new blessings refill your hands. That is the secret cycle of divine economy. Giving creates capacity. Every time you serve without seeking recognition, your influence expands invisibly. Now pause and feel this truth. You've become the answer to prayers you once prayed. You asked God to change your life. He changed it so you could change others. You asked for miracles. He made you into one. That realization should humble you. It's proof that obedience is the shortest path between prayer and purpose. This is the moment of completion, the point where silence becomes sound again, but this time it speaks through impact. Heaven smiles when a chosen one reaches this stage because it means the lesson of restraint has turned into the rhythm of responsibility. Before we close, seal this revelation. If these words have reached you, if you feel that confirmation burning quietly inside, make a small act of agreement. Hit the like button as your declaration of alignment. Subscribe so you never miss what heaven speaks next. And type 99 in the comments. The number 99 is your signal, your yes I receive. It represents completion, protection, and readiness for the next chapter of manifestation. It says to heaven, I am listening, I am ready, and I will stay faithful in silence and in sound. Chosen one, your rise is now active. Walk gently, shine steadily, and remember, the quiet that began this journey is the same power that will sustain it. You are living proof that silence still speaks, and heaven always answers. Chosen one, this is the point where the journey circles back to silence, but it's not the same silence that began your story. This quiet is fuller, alive with understanding. You no longer sit in uncertainty, you sit in awareness. You have walked through warning, discipline, manifestation, and ascension. Now you stand in stillness that carries weight. This is what divine maturity feels like. Clarity without noise, faith without proof, peace without condition. The miracles you once chased now move naturally through your life because you have become a space where heaven feels at home. Listen closely. You don't have to try anymore. The effort that once exhausted you has been replaced by rhythm. You are breathing in sync with divine order. The same energy that lifted you will now sustain you. God speaks softly in this stage because you've learned to hear him in whispers. He no longer shouts warnings. He speaks companionship. You've proven you can handle both his silence and his sound. That is the sign of a true chosen one. Now, as this season seals, he gives one last instruction. Protect your peace. Your peace is your altar. Your peace is your proof. Your peace is the evidence that God is still present. Don't trade it for opinions, for arguments, or for the need to explain your path. You owe no one an explanation for alignment. Your peace is the language heaven understands best. Guard it as your most sacred possession. Each morning, wake with intention. Whisper gratitude before you reach for anything else. Remind yourself that everything you've experienced, every silence, every test, every miracle was not random. It was training. You have graduated from survival into stewardship. From this day forward, carry light quietly. Speak gently, even when truth burns bright within you. Power that stays calm lasts longer than power that performs. The world is loud. Your peace will be your contrast. That contrast is your calling card. When confusion surrounds others, your clarity will draw them. When fear spreads, your calm will stand out. This is how the chosen rise, not through volume, but through vibration. And when you notice familiar patterns returning, the urge to overshare, to prove, to rush. Pause. Remember what you learned. Revelation without protection invites interference. Say within yourself, I am covered, I am guided, I am protected. That affirmation is your shield. Speak it when you wake. Speak it when doubt whispers. Speak it when everything seems too quiet to understand. The silence that once scared you will now soothe you. It has become your spiritual language. Chosen one, heaven has signed your release. The tests are complete, the alignment is active, and the manifestation is ongoing. You are now walking proof that obedience still opens doors no hand can shut. Before this message ends, take one final action to anchor what you've received. If you feel the confirmation stirring inside you, if you know this word was meant for you, do what we do as a sign of agreement. Hit the like button, not as routine, but as declaration. Subscribe so you never miss the next divine whisper meant for your spirit. And finally, type 99 in the comments. That number still carries what it did before: completion, alignment, divine protection. But now it means something more. I have arrived, and I will stay aligned. As you type it, know this: heaven recognizes obedience more than emotion. This act seals the word over your life. Chosen one, walk now in peace. Walk as one who carries light without needing to announce it. Walk with confidence that God's hand will guide every unseen detail. Your silence is not emptiness, it's mastery. Your calm is not weakness, it's evidence. Your rise is not coming, it has already begun. Go forward, speak less, shine more. And remember, God's favor does not echo. It hums quietly through those who learned how to listen.